Okay. We're now live. Vince, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. All right, so we'll give this a minute to go, and then I will get started. Just check that. Okay. Pulling up some stuff for me to print later today. Stuff I need to design. Need to refill some videos because the focus on the last one was pretty garbage, so I'm going to go ahead and remake those, and I'm preparing that probably after this live stream. But the big topic tonight is I'm going to walk through the troubleshooting that I had to go through for getting my Mark 3S working again. Because it was a roller coaster. Absolute roller coaster. And it's printing fine just now. We've got a couple good prints off it now. Well, we've got a couple prints off of it. One came off pretty garbage though, but that was a setting issue. All right, we got a couple people connected, so we'll go ahead and go through it. So feel free to ask any questions kind of while I am going through this. Hey, Aaron, thank you, buddy. That was half of Thanksgiving. The kids were at school, wife was cooking dinner, and I spent a good portion of the day while like waiting for the turkeys and stuff to cook for me to work on the printer. So thankfully I had the time because I had a day off work. Otherwise, I'd have been working on it today. Well, I was gone all day today. So, yes, I was getting frustrated. But this is also why you kind of have to walk away from problems. When you're by yourself in your own shop, even at work, I work by myself quite a bit on problems. And sometimes you just have to walk away for a couple hours, think about it, and then go back. So, Turtle, hello, hello. This is my original Prusa. So we're going to go back a couple months. Sorry, I can see better now. And again, any questions on this, please ask while I kind of go through this. And I'm hoping that me documenting this discussion will kind of help others during their troubleshooting on their printer. What is on? My glasses are so scratched. I need new glasses this Christmas. Santa, please. Anyways, okay, so go back a couple months. I started having issues with the Mark 3S where I kept getting a TMC over temp issue, and that ended up being a problem with the board. Okay, so I ordered a 5-sec board clone, which I've never had problems with before. I say never, I've only ever had one, and it's still down here working in Hound, down there, still working just fine. But that one still wasn't working. I was still getting some random reboots and things like that, which I thought it was the board. So I processed the return through 5-sec, and I waited for a few months for Prusa to finally get back in stock of the boards. Finally got stock, so I ordered it with some filament because I'm already paying shipping. Might as well throw a couple other things in there. Got the new board, got it installed, and it seemed to be working fine for a few prints. And then it started rebooting on me. For some reason, during printing, it would just reboot, and I was getting temperature issues where I was getting thermal runaway. And I thought I'd replaced the heater before then. I already have replaced the heater in that a few times now. But I thought I did it more recently, so I was like, you know what? It must be the power supply. So I went on to AliExpress and ordered a clone power supply because I have a few of them, of the Prusa one on 2-3 printers, and they're working just fine. So I figured I would get another cloned Meanwell. It says it's a real Meanwell, I don't know, but either way, that's what I got. I got it here, installed it. I got the ABS print that I did a few live streams ago. I worked on the printer, and then I started the ABS print for the FT5 so I could get the probe working on it again. And that worked out just fine. And then I started another, I don't know, 3-4 prints off of it, came off just fine. And then I started getting either a random reboot or thermal runaway. So I went ahead and looked at the heater, and I saw that the cable was a little bit scraped away. So there was some exposed wire. Now it was only on one of the two legs of the heater, so it wasn't like it was shorting every now and then. But I decided, hey, I'm just going to pull out another 24-volt heater, put a new heater in it, started a print, and got thermal runaway again. So then I pulled the thermistor, which I've replaced. I think that was the second, so this is now the third thermistor that I've put into the machine, and thermal runaway was gone, but the printer was still rebooting, and it was rebooting at various levels. Sometimes it would reboot after a half an hour of printing, sometimes after an hour and a half or 2 hours of printing, sometimes after 5 minutes of printing. So it was very inconsistent when it was rebooting. So I was like, well, maybe it's the power supply again. So I still have the power supply, the original power supply from the machine that I put on it, and tried that. That still was rebooting. So I went back to the other power supply. But what I did this time instead is I replaced, it's in my trash bin right here. I replaced this entire bit. So what's in here, which is some filament scraps. This has the power panic board in there with the power panic connection. This is specific to Prusa printers because they're the only ones that I know that have this connection. Some of the newer boards might have it. I don't know. I'm not caught up with all of the newest FiSect or what's the other one? Big Tree Tech boards, anything like that. So it could be the power panic board. It could be something wrong in the power switch. It could be something wrong in the power socket. It could be something wrong in the power cables. Really no telling what it was, and I did not feel like piecing out one at a time, because the only reason why I didn't piece through it is because I had this entire thing from FiSect that I got with the power supply. And I figured, well, since I already have it, it's fully assembled, everything like that, just have to slap the power supply on it and rewire the printer, I would go that route. Now, if I did not buy the new, or if I bought a power supply from Prusa per se, and say it didn't come with all of the new electronics, then I probably would have started parting things out one at a time, which would have been brutal because I don't have an extra power panic board. I have extra cables. I have an extra one of, I think I might have one of these switches that I could have used, but I did not have another C13 power connector. So that would have been, I would have figured that out. And the power panic board is soldered directly to the C13 socket. And it has this little power sense cable that goes to your positive of your 24-volt rail or 24-volt of your power supply. So swapping that out, it's now totally good. So I don't know where in the electronics of this was bad, no idea whatsoever. So I'm just chucking the whole bit. I don't feel like trying to test out. I mean, it could be one of the resistors or diodes, or there's some MOSFETs. There's a MOSFET on here as well. I think it's a MOSFET. There's a bunch of different things on here. I don't feel like troubleshooting this board that I don't have a replacement for, or again, the socket I don't have for. I'm not even keeping the fuse in there just in case the fuse was being the weird thing. I'm just chucking the whole bit because I had the replacement to install. So I definitely know now that I can keep the old 24-volt power supply because it's still, as far as I'm concerned, still good. And I can use that in another printer, which is fantastic. But yeah, it really took me probably most of the day on Thursday. Again, I worked on this. I got up Thursday morning, got the kids to school, and, well, made their lunches and all that, got them ready for school, went back to bed because I was tired, then got up, did turkey and stuff, well, worked on this for a little bit, then worked on the turkeys for the wife, came back in, worked on this for a while, went to dinner, came back that night. It was either that night or the day before or the day after is when I finally got this to work. It was either Thursday night or Friday that I got back from work and was able to finally get everything going again. So it's great that it's working. I've had a few prints come out since then. For any of you that watch the Winter Garden channel, the Marble Machine X, I printed Wilson. He had a free download for the STL on his channel, or on his website, I should say. So I 3D printed Wilson, and I 3D printed a Flexi Rex, which came out great. No issues whatsoever. This is what I was testing with each time to try to get the print, or it was the other one. Either way. And then I've printed out the Dragon, that like Flexi Dragon, which it came out really a ton of retraction issues with that print. So I'm going to go ahead and reprint that with better retraction settings. And I have like a basket on there now. But it seemed to be solid so far. I've been checking the temperature of the board. I've been checking the temperature of the power supply just to be sure that everything is cooling properly, cooling okay. So there has to be a way to bypass the power panic feature on the PCB. I think if you just don't connect it, it might bypass it. I'm not sure. But again, I don't know if it was that or even, I mean, I haven't replaced the cables that went, these are actually the old cables here. Because again, I'm going to refilm some videos. So I'm going to use these as sacrificial cables. I'm not even reusing the actual power cables that went from the power supply to the board because I don't know if these were it. You know, it's just such a weird issue to happen. It's just like when I had the power cable go off on that printer. How does a power cable go faulty? I don't know. It's a straight line of copper from end to end. I don't know. But again, it was just a very weird issue. It took a very long time. I mean, a whole day of me troubleshooting something is pretty extreme. I even checked for voltage drop on the printer. So I had my meters right here still sitting. I had the meter hooked up to it. And I was checking the meter to see, okay, are we dropping voltage a lot whenever it's actually heating and preheating? Saw none of that. Tried that on both of the power supplies because I thought that was the issue with the other power supply, but I don't think it actually was. I'm still going to keep that one as a sus one. There might be something more about it, but because I had a bad board and the bad power connections, it could have been also a bad power supply. The heater definitely needed change because it did have the wear on it, which is real. I really don't like the cheapo red heaters. I like there's the white ones that are out now that have a much thicker, I think a more sturdy type of insulation on them, and it's more of a nylon type. Like that's kind of waxy on those red ones. But on the white ones, it's kind of like nylon, so it slides a lot better and it's a lot less friction to be able to cut through that, which I like. And then there is the blue 40 watt ones from E3D, but the only blue one I have is 12 volt, which I really need to, I think I need to go through and get rid of a lot of the 12 volt stuff I have because I don't have a single 12 volt printer anymore. No, that's wrong. The FT5 is still 12 volt. So I would keep some stuff for that. Other than that, every other printer I have is 24 volt now. And that's kind of just the way that the world has gone. We've gone away from the 12 volt printers. We're on to 24 volt printers now. I don't really know anybody else that's still doing 12 volt printers, you know, except like obviously probably Crowdy is probably still doing 12 volt. Anycubic very well might still be. I know those were both 120 printer or 12 volt printers. Yeah, I'm not sure about other ones though. But either way, it's just kind of, I'm running low now on 24 volt stuff. So I have to dig through all the 12 volt to see which is 12 volt, which is 24. But yeah, so that's basically the saga that was me troubleshooting the Mark 3S over the past, I mean, it's been the past few months, honestly, because between the board, what I thought was the power supply, waiting for a new board, waiting for a new power supply, and then just troubleshooting over the last few days with it and just pulling my hair out. Like, what in the world is wrong? I've replaced, like, when I did the power supply thing, I was like, literally, I have replaced everything on this board except for the individual cables from the components to the actual, from like the motors to the board or something like that. And I thought it was my Raspberry Pi. I nuked my Raspberry Pi. So that took me 2.5 hours last night to rebuild the Raspberry Pi. I thought it was the USB cable, so I pulled this off, put a new USB cable on. I thought it was the firmware. I reflashed firmware on the printer. I thought it was the palette messing with it, so I disconnected the palette. Like literally, I went through almost every single thing you could possibly do aside from replacing like the motors on it at that point. So it just really was just absolutely mind-numbingly difficult to figure out what in the world is my pain point on this printer. Yeah, if it's already 12 volt, don't convert it. If it works, that's kind of the issue with 3D printers, you know, fix it till it's broke. Really is honestly a lot of makers' mottos, which it really shouldn't be, but it is. Fix it till it ain't, or yeah, fix it till it's broke or whatever it is. It's just such a pain. But either way, it's working now, and I'm very happy because, again, it is still my best functioning printer. I get great printers off of Metroplex, the FT5. My custom machines get very good prints. They don't get excellent prints, they get good prints. I would say the Metroplex, the FT5 gets a little bit higher than some of these. The BLV gets great prints off of it. I mean, it really just depends on what they are. Like I just printed, I'm doing a flexible filament kind of review type thing and I printed with Optimus Prime. So the red printer down here, this guy has a Hemera on there that Brandon sent me. And I mean, the walls on this thing are glorious. I don't know if it's really focusing on it or not. These dumb webcams. There we go. I mean, the walls on it are great. This is the top of it. The bottom is still glue stick. I didn't clean the bottom off yet. But I mean, this came off really, really good at like 50, 60 millimeters a second in flexible filament. Like it's 2 or 3 walls on this, 4 or 5, bottom 4 top layers, 10% infill. It's just a doorstop. But I mean, it came out fantastic on that printer and it didn't take long at all, which is great. So I'm very happy with the different printers I have for different reasons. You know, I'm still trying to share the love a little bit more as I work on different filaments or different projects, trying to use different printers for them. To also be able to justify to have so many, because you got to justify it somehow. I do have some really cool filament that came in. I have some of that multicolored single strand filament that I literally just received on, I think, Wednesday. Yeah, I got mail on Wednesday, so I think that was from where it was from. So that's for me to review and check out. And then I found some other spools, what I'm printing with now, this gold and that red. The gold was a sponsored filament. The red was filament I bought to try out, and I never did videos on them. I never even printed with them. And when I got my new shipment of Ziltech in, which is everything up here, I bought a whole ton of Ziltech filament. They had a good sale for affiliates and free shipping. So I bought a whole bunch of them. When I went up there, I was like, oh, this is, I didn't buy this filament. I think this is sponsored filament. So I pulled it down, pulled up the old emails. Yep, sure enough, it's from like a long time ago. So I'm getting those done now. Do a couple of filament reviews here and there, I think. We'll see as companies send them out. I've just been in talks with a lot of different companies on a bunch of different things. So we'll kind of see how the next few months roll out. I've got vacation coming up another 2.5 weeks. So I will be taking a long break. I'm trying to see if I can get some videos ready for then. I don't know, maybe there'll be 1, maybe 2 videos for during that time, since I won't be doing any live streams, have some kind of content. Be sure to smell it. Absolutely, Aaron. I smell every new spool as it opens up. I'm not doing it on camera this time anymore. I stopped kind of the whole talking about the packaging and things like that, because it doesn't seem like anybody cares how filament comes packaged, whether it's in a reusable bag or not. Like, that's still, Amazon filament is still king for that, because it comes in a resealable bag with a big desiccant pack. Amazon is still doing well. Overture, which I think they're the same for the most part. I just ordered some Overture filament, some of their matte filament, to do a project with. So I think I'm going to do that project, and I'll kind of review the filament at the same time. When I bought it specifically for a project I want to do, so I think I'll review it then. But I need to edit the STL. I need to remix it, even though it says no remixes. I just won't upload it, I guess. But I'm going to remix it because it's for, well, you'll see it when I finally do it. But anyways, it mounts up to something. I want it to mount against something, so I need to just change the holes. Polymaker had a receivable bag too, but they were crap bags. I don't know if I've ever used Polymaker filament. I've never gotten a roll of their stuff. They've never sponsored me, and I think the only Polymaker I've ever printed with has come from the MakerBox, which I stopped doing a long time ago because those videos never got views, and I was just basically throwing money away, $30 a month, on the filament box and making like literally 50 cents off the video. So I stopped doing MakerBox videos a long time ago, and that was why, because no one watches the videos. It gets like 200 views and it's kind of worthless. So there's no reason to waste the money. I did, though, resubscribe to Endless Possibilities from Protopasta for 3 spools every other month. I want to start using more of their stuff more frequently. I think it will encourage me to print more if I have the filament. I know the filament's coming to do things. It will encourage me to do more projects, I think. So I'm going to see how it goes. Oh, Loyal sent you a bunch for free. That's cool. I have not seen or spoken to him in a year. It's been quite a long time since we had talked, or he's even been to the stream. Very long time. So yeah, I mean, again, if anybody has any questions on the troubleshooting thing, let me know. I documented all my frustration in the Discord, so sorry if that was a little much, but it was just kind of me. It's also the only way that I can really talk through a problem is to type it up and put it in Discord to kind of see what I've gone through. And it really helps when I do that, because then people can say, hey, did you do this? Or like, hey, I didn't see you do that yet. So that's why I really like kind of just step-by-step going through it. And he's busy working his Twitch streams. Ah, okay. With his Twitch streams. Ah, I see, okay. Yeah, I don't do Twitch. There's not a big enough audience over there. There's hardly an audience on YouTube either, so it is what it is, though. Someone said I should stream on both, but that's way too much work. And I think my network connection could take it here. It all depends where I move to next, whether the connection can take it or not. So I don't want to start a new community somewhere when I probably won't stream on there. I could stream both. Like I would never try to move my audience from YouTube to Twitch. I'm just gaining traction again. You designed a couple of toys for his Christmas print drive this year. Oh, very cool. I didn't see you post those, Aaron. You should post that in the Discord. But yeah, it's too hard to move a community, especially now that I'm getting more traction on my own channel on YouTube. Subscriptions are way up. View count is way up. The watch hours is way up. So I definitely don't want to try to switch over to a different platform to try to take that over to there. Didn't last year year before, it was like farm equipment and like farm animals, stuff like that. I think I printed some of that before, like the supportless like tractor or something like that. I think I printed those a year or 2 or 3 ago. It's been a while, but I remember he did that a long time ago. But I printed a few for my kids because me shipping stuff to him would be absolutely insane price. So there's no reason to do that. This year is Space Toys. Very cool. Very cool. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, post what you've done so far. Let's see. So what's up in other news? Other news is the Legacy is still sitting there. I have not gotten the parts in yet that I need to finish the build, so it's still going to sit there. I have debated on getting the board set up and just testing the Z to make sure that's going to work properly, but I haven't done it yet. There's just a ton going on right now, so I didn't feel that it would be worth the time. But I'm really curious to see, though. I don't want to get too far in the build and find out that those POM lead screw nuts will be be not good on the Voron. They designed it for the brass nuts. I know that, but they can be loud and it's a lot quieter and they don't need to be lubed if you use the palm ones. And that's what I'm currently using. So I think I'll just have to wait a little bit unless I really feel up to, you know, configuring a board and hooking up the two Z motors and seeing if they go up and down or not. I wish I knew how to do like add them to a simple. I have some simple driver boards, but I have no idea how to configure them. I don't even know why I bought them. I bought them years ago for a project that never, I think by the time I got them from AliExpress, I forgot what the project is. So I have them sitting around. I've been debating on trying it. Aaron says I'll be fine with the palm nuts. Hopefully. Again, it's just it's pretty hard to move the Z now as it is. So if I try to twist this, I mean it's pretty doggone stiff. Like I know the printer has a lot of torque, but it's pretty stiff. So I'm a little concerned about it, just a little bit. But we'll end up seeing how it goes because we just have to wait and see how it goes. Yeah, so really the only thing I'm missing now are the M5 flanged bearings, the F695 thinks they are. You have them on your 1.8. Okay, good. But those flange bearings is the last thing I'm waiting on, and I'm hoping they'll be here next week, but the fact we had 2 holiday weeks in a row did not help my mail. I don't get mail every day. We only get mail a few times a week. So it really makes it difficult to know when something's going to come in and when it's not. So these hit the US was on the 18th, today's the 26th. So hopefully next week. Yeah, I could foresee them coming next week. It's just a small envelope, so I could see them coming here next week, which would be great because I would love to finish up that build as soon as possible. Really, I'm not going to finish it before I go on vacation because I know I ordered the like M4 extruder and things like that. I know those are going to take time to come from AliExpress to get here. So I'm just wanting to really get the rest of, well, right now I'm working on the Y carriage. Y is what I'm working on right now. Next video will be X. And then I think I'll be able to do Y and X before I go on vacation. I may also end up doing, but when I do X, I might do belts in the same video or a separate video, I'm not sure. And then I'll do electronics. And the last will be the extruder. That's going to probably end up being the last part. I need to write down just a checklist of how I'm doing it, what I'm doing on the project. I'm thinking about going back to, what was it called? Was it Trello? I used to use Trello with Riley when he was my YouTube manager, working on my uploads, things like that. Like it was mostly a to-do list for me. The only part that he would have to do is the video description and schedule the video. That was only his only 2 things to do for YouTube for me. But I would at least have a list in there, like, did I do the thumbnail? Did I record the video? Did I edit the video? I'm thinking about going back to Trello or like Monday.com, something like that. They have the free ones, just to track my projects again, because I feel like I'm getting a little lost because it takes so long for me to get things. It already takes a long time, even if you're back in the US, to get stuff from AliExpress. It can take 1, 2, 3 months at times. Takes me an additional 1 to 2 months though sometimes for some of that stuff. So I think I might end up going back to that. I might end up inviting you, Aaron, if I go back to Trello, I might end up inviting you to the team, just to kind of document some of the collab stuff that we've done on designs and things like that. And that way I can kind of track. So I think I can put links and things in there as well. So when I forget the ones I've used, or it's always like trying to remember, because I'll do like this film review I'm working on right now. Well, I probably won't film this until after the holidays. Well, I'm gonna forget, and I don't want to leave 50 tabs open of all the different things I've printed, and that's the one thing I've always been bad at, is making sure I link all of the models in the video description. I like to do it, but I forget. I'm like, man, I can't, or I don't even do it because I can't find the model again because I don't remember what it was. I just go on to, right now I just go on to printables, scroll through for, you know, just a while, and then I pick a couple things to print. Some of the things I do as normal prints, but a lot of things I just randomly grab something and print it out and see how it goes. So, like the dragon I've never done before, I did a whistle, Wilson, and I'm doing a basket right now. I figured the basket would look kind of cool in this gold filament. So it's a woven basket, looks like it's woven. If I was doing a wood filament, I would do that, but I'm not. But I think this gold shiny filament will look good in that, on that model. So that's why I'm doing it. It's just hard to remember all of it. So maybe I'll do that tonight. I'll get back into Trello and start that back up. I'm gonna add that here to my to-do list. And it might even help me get back on schedule for things. I am getting more into editing again, which everyone's known me. It's always been the least favorite thing of mine, and I can't afford an editor, so I've got to do it myself. I would love to be able to afford an editor. It would be fantastic. But I'm getting back into the filming of things, and like I said, I'm going to work on another video tonight, or a few videos. I might do all three, because I did the ferrules, JSTs, and Mom says, need new toothbrush holder printed, 1 for 5 toothbrushes. I can do that. I will put that on my to-do list. So I will do that and bring it home with me when I come home next month. It's on the list. Nadav, how you doing? This is the model that people printed 1 million of for the print drive. 1 million? Holy crap, dude. That's a cool looking model though. Prints flat. That is pretty cool. Oh, we have done some multicolor prints with that. That's pretty cool. That actually would be pretty sweet. So I wonder, I hate doing bandwagon prints. I will say that though. But I wonder if I could throw this into canvas and color like the wings, the fins on top, and the cockpit a different color and print that with the palette. That might be fun. Oh, somebody did something like that. Oh, he did on the bamboo. Wonder how he sliced that. I don't know if you looked in your makes, Aaron, but if you go down to Rome things, right here he's got a multicolor one, which is pretty cool. There's some ones here too. Did you already separate it into bodies? Is that how they're able to do that? Oh, rainbow one's pretty slick. That's pretty cool. Bamboo Slicer has it built in. Ah, okay. Yeah, I would need to throw that into Canvas. Download the STL. Try it out right now, actually. Login. Color inspo. Oh, okay. Did they change their website? I don't remember my password. Crap. I really don't remember what it is. Prusa MK3S has color in if you profiles. So, I mean, I do have the, where's it at? So here's the we do. So I wonder if oh yeah, the multi-material painting. We do smart fill. Let's see if we can adjust the angle. Oh, there, yeah, we can do that. Shooter 2, yeah. Why don't you let me? Oh, it's like that. So you can do that. That's funny. Do like that on the back there. I would love to be able to do these wings. That's gonna be super hard to do all the faces on here. All those faces. Because that's gonna bleed in so much. Yeah, it doesn't work out like that. Could just do like that though. Whoa, geez. Like that. Oh, that doesn't bode well like that. Yeah, you could switch to the brush. So like that. Make that big. Just go across like that. As close as you can get. Or again, try to do the sectors and then go from there. But yeah, you could do like back there. Like that. Might be all right. Something like that. Might need to get the WeDo out, man. I mean, it's up on the shelf. Might be something fun to do. I got a bunch of new colors now, so I definitely can do something like that. Ouch. So you do that too. There we go. Can I change the color? Which wingtips, Aaron? Like out here? The color, this is just red and blue is just the annotations. You mean doing like these here? Along this edge here? Yeah, it's pretty rounded, my friend. I'll fix that. That's about the best I can do there because going over to here, that line goes all the way over. Oh no, I get it. Let's see if I can do the other side now. I did inside these vents. That looks kind of cool. If I should do all of that. Oh, like that. I like that better, actually. That and like that. That looks sweet. Now for this one here. And then, how are we doing here? Like that there. Oops, where'd I go? Jeez. Around like this. Like that. Yeah, something like that. Oh, this is the STL though. I didn't pull in the 3MF. This is the STL. I mean, there's some funky geometry on here, Aaron. Though. Look at this. What's this? What's this? Funky geometry going on there. I don't even know how you designed this either way. This is fantastic, though. I don't even know how you did this. But no, it looks great. I'm just messing with you at this point. Oh, there's a multicolor one. A curve and a curve. That's probably where that goes kind of down and then kind of flattens out. I think that's where that's at. Yeah, that's where that curves down and then flattens out. So, still very cool. What'd you design this in? Fusion? Vince, he got a Chameleon 4-color system. So CodePrint hit me up a while back, and they were gonna send me some stuff, but don't really think they have. So oh, I got the draft shield enabled there. I don't think I need that. But yeah, so they said they were going to send me their thing, but I don't think they will, honestly. I don't know if they have yet or not, but I haven't received anything yet. And I also don't have a, the heck was that? Little damn fly thing. Gravy. Not the rain's here. Damn little bugs. Oh, maybe I'll give that a shot. Like I said, I need to. The WeDo is, you guys can't see it. It's up behind, way up on top of the shelves up here. I need to also get the stepladder if I want to get there. But I'm not sure if I can actually print with it up there. I might need to figure out a way to mount the spool holders to the wall, which is easy enough to do. Just drill a couple holes. That could be something to do tomorrow, because I don't think we have anything. We have something tomorrow late afternoon, but I think in the morning, if I do want to do this, I need to mount the spool holders to the wall for the WeDo, because with the way the spool holders are right now, they won't, they're up against the wall basically. The community says looks ugly. I mean, the code print doesn't look too great either. The only thing that really looks like sophisticated is the enraged carrot feeder thing and the MMU2. Like, those look more sophisticated for multi-material stuff. I wish the MMU2 worked well. It just, although it was kind of a pain to have to set up all the time, where the palette at least is this one thing that I can connect to any printer for the most part. So yeah, to each his own, I guess. I did use, I showed this on the in the Discord, but I did use my palette to join all of my protopasta samples that I've been, so this was, I had Pastabilities a few years ago. I had a few envelopes sitting around. I never printed with any of it before, and I used it on that last project, the Soma Cube one. Too scared of the tuning for the, yeah, the ERCF and Rage Rabbit Carrot Feeder. The MMU2 was a brute to configure, and then I got it working, and then it stopped working for some reason, and then like trying to configure it again. I cannot explain to you the hours that I spent pouring into that when I finally had to call it quits, just because you have to know when you're beat. You just have to kill it off. So that's why I ended up selling it, because there was no reason to keep it and keep fighting with it. I was just losing too much time working on it. And so I guess that's the reason why I haven't done the Enraged Rabbit Carrot Feeder, because I don't think I want to go through the tuning again. It's just so much work, where the palette, for the most part, just works. When I get good splices. The Protopasta fuses extremely well, extremely well. Ziltech PLA doesn't fuse very well, at least not that I could ever really figure out. I know white was always an issue, which is tough because I use a white in a lot of multicolored prints, you know. I have several here that is a video that I never ended up making. I started editing it and it sounded just like a bitch fest. So I decided not to make it because I didn't want to be design prototype test at all. I did not want to be him and just go on a rant on something again. I've done that before. I don't want to be that guy. So I scrapped the idea of the, and I was talking about purge blocks and multicolor filament and how people don't understand how to do or what is required to do multicolor printing. And it also kills me that people whine about multicolor printing all the time, and yet not a single one of them know any of the engineering that goes into the products or the software behind the actual, like what actually takes to make that stuff. They have no idea. And that drives me crazy. I think that's just the IT guy in me that gets really ticked about that when someone doesn't understand. I should be Peter Griffin. You know what grinds my gears is people that are stupid. That's for anybody though. But yeah, it's just they have no idea what engineering it takes to make a multicolor. Like the people behind the MMU2, I mean, fantastically smart people. People behind the Rage Rabbit Carrot Feeder, fantastically smart people. Behind the palette, behind the code print, behind any of these, like the minds behind it are so great. Its execution might be a little lackluster, but I mean, they are super smart people to figure this stuff out and create software and hardware to be able to do this. And yet 100% of the people that are complaining about it have no idea what goes into it. And that just really bugs me. And I feel bad for, you know, any of the companies that try to figure it out, that they don't understand. Like, well, this one does it better because of this, and this one's worse because of that. It's just blah. He says, once the carrot feeder is hard to set up, but once it's working, most of the time it works. It's not that it's too hard, Aaron. It's like it weighs too much filament, you know? I mean, I have two different purge blocks here from two different things. Okay, they're both two different prints. But regardless, I mean, this is the purge you get for... Do I have the print for it? Yeah, here it is. So this is the purge block for this. I mean, it's almost as tall as it, but I mean, it kind of is what it is. If you want to print multicolored filament with a single nozzle, you have to have purge. And it takes so much filament for you to be able to purge out the previous color to able to get the new color out, especially if you're going from a strong color to a weak color. I think that's what palette calls it, strong to weak, where a strong color is black or red or this dark green. A weak color is an orange, a yellow, a white, any pastel-y type color. So when you go from a strong color to a weak color, you have to purge a ton in order to get that out of your nozzle. And whenever you go from a light to a dark color, you don't have to purge so much because that light color goes out much faster and it's absorbed into that dark color much more easily. So it just, again, it just kills me that people complain about it, but yet they don't understand it, and yet they're doing nothing to improve it except whine, and they're doing nothing to improve the software by building their own. Like, hey, if you don't like it, build your own software. Cool. Like, if you don't like something, do it yourself. But if you can't do it yourself, shut up, basically. Again, I wanted a little bit of the tangent here. I don't want to do a video about that because I think that would just be, it'd be a little too negative a video for me to make. And I don't want to make a super negative video. The Ender 7 review is negative enough for me. I don't need any more of that. So, says it'll take 5 hours for that plane to print. I really want to try that. I might end up working on that tonight. No, I can't. I can't drill tonight. But I might at least line up where those spool holders would need to go. Put them off to each of the sides and be able to do that. And put them up high and off to the sides. That's what I need to do to make sure that has enough space. I might even need to cut a board for this because the feet are coming through it's only these metal shelvings where all of the lighter i3 printers I have all are on foam core board. I have some up here cut for that there, but it's just simple craft foam core, super lightweight. That's on all of these to give me a nice surface to have my printer sit on, and it keeps it clean. Well, doesn't keep it clean. It makes it easier to clean because the droppings from the filament above the printer above it don't drop onto the printer below it. It's much easier to take my vacuum and just vacuum each of the shelves very quickly. I know it's a lot of work and I don't have time for it, which is fine, but it's just, if people are going to complain, then do something about it. Don't just complain. You know, there are so many software people out there these days that are like, tell me what to fix and I'll fix it for you because I don't use it as much as you do and I don't use it the way you do. So tell me how to fix it and I will try to figure that out. And I guarantee every company out there that has a multi-material solution is doing that. If someone gives them good feedback on what needs fixed, they would probably do it. Don't just complain about it. That's what Amazon reviews are for. Go complain on Amazon. Anyways, that was too much. I'm sorry. This print's gonna take a long time. I did install some cool. I did spend, again, in those 2 hours I was working on the Raspberry Pi, I went through the list of plugins and I found some cool ones. I found like an ETA one, so it tells me that at 9:34 a.m. this print is going to finish. It tells me that on the LCD. I think that's pretty cool. I was able to enable that in Octoprint and it pushes that to the LCD screen. There's a couple other interesting features I'd put in there. Again, Octolapse I've had in there before. I got to figure out what the password is for Canvas. I really don't know what it is, but I'm not going to do it right now. What were some other cool ones that I'd found? It was like a Wi-Fi. There's a Wi-Fi one that I did as well. Because actually, yeah, because it shows me my IP address now in Octoprint when I'm on there. Because I have it skinned as the Canvas hub, because that's what I use it for, is the palette. And before I had the ETA on here, it did show me the IP address. I think it shows me the IP address though when the printer is idle, which I do like. So I can easily, if I ever forget what it is, I have reservations set up for all the printers now because that was a thing we talked about several streams ago, like a month ago. They all have reservations now. They all keep the same IP address. So I have less guesswork now when I'm printing things because, again, for some reason, DNS is broke at my house and I can't use their actual .local name to print to them. I have to use their IP address to print them. Or it was something that changed in Prusa Slicer. I don't remember what it was. Either way, I can't do it anymore. I have to use the exact IP address now. But that's all fixed. Phone is charged. I need to charge my power bank now. I got the new power bank printed over there, the gold there. I just need to design the one for the big batteries now that I have. And I have two of these guys. So I need to figure something out at some point. I need to go and scan this in on my scanner and take measurements and kind of line everything up. That's how I did the old one. And then do a test print of the cutout. So where the cable would come up and into it. Test to make sure this fits. It's nice and snug. It's in the right location. And then I can print the entire thing. And I think I'll print a double for this one with 2 slots side by side. And that way it'll be easier to, instead of sitting this down on my toolbox with the cable plugged into it, I can just dock it right onto my desk and that will be much easier to do. I think that's what I'll end up doing. But again, more engineering time that I need to design that and figure all that out at some point. Well, it was a productive evening. We're just about to hit the hour now, and I don't really have much else to share. You know, I'm really hoping that next week when we have this live stream, that printer will be further along than it is now. Everything's printed. I might end up reprinting the M4 gear. I had a little bit of elephant footing on it, so the back side of it is not as nice as I would like it to be. This is all printed in white ABS. All of the parts came up mostly good. I'm also not a perfectionist when it comes to some of the prints, as most of you know. If it prints and it works, it's good. Like the Volron on the front blower part, the O got jacked up. So see that? The O is a little jacked up there. I don't care too much about it, but I might end up trying to print this again. It's not like it has any heat thread inserts into it, which is great. So I might end up trying to print this again if I end up printing that gear again. I have time. I mean, the filament is still sitting there right here. It's still loaded in the printer. Just haven't done it yet. So maybe I'll end up doing that later this weekend or next weekend, but I've got some other things. The stealth burner. I'm going with the stock for now, Aaron. So that was kind of how I did the, that's how I did the Hypercube. I want to do the same thing with the Valorant Legacy, see how it goes. Print everything out and just go from there, and then I can try. I'm more than happy to try that out later, but I want to try the actual thing first. I think you're referring to the Clockwork. I'm not using the Clockwork. I'm using the M4 extruder, which is what comes in the design for the Legacy. So I'm printing it out and using it, again, 98% stock. There's only a few tiny things that I've had to change to make it work for my situation. But that's what I'm doing. Doesn't the stealth burner work on the V0, Aaron? Because I have no idea what I'm going to use on that. Oh, and stealth burner is direct drive, right? So I also don't have any of the parts. I think I actually have, I have the motor, that little round pancake motor. I think I have that. That might have been in one of the boxes that I had randomly bought something, or it might have come from Brandon when he sent me a bunch of stuff. No, it's for the full-size machines. Okay. But I think it is the direct drive one, right? And it uses that weird pancake motor. I'm pretty sure I have that in here. Let me look real quick. Yeah, it's this guy, right? This little motor, isn't this what that uses? Yes, he says. Okay. So again, I have no idea where I got this from. If I had to guess, it was from Brandon. But yeah, I have it. So if I do need to do it, the hardest part, I guess, is this. I don't know what extruder gears it uses, but again, that's for months down the line. We're very far away from me trying any other things out on it. But it's also not like, I'm not the Volron channel, so me trying out different extruders, I am not sure that will really drum up any new views, anything like that. It might not, I don't know. But again, we're going stock with what the design is first to see how that goes. And then I will try other things out maybe later. But again, that'll be far into next year. I think I'll be able to finish the printer probably in February. I think is when I'll end up finishing, because when I get back, jet lag is going to be brutal. So I might end up working on it in the middle of the night. Maybe do some live streams then too. Depends on what the kids are doing. And yeah, but when I get all those parts when I come back, that'll probably be finishing it sometime in February, which will be pretty good. But yeah, anyways, I am going to call it there. And there's the rain, so I might end up losing internet, so we'll call this now. Thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you for tuning in with me. Thank you for listening to my troubleshooting of the Mark 3S, and your questions have been great, so thank you all for the very interactive live stream. I do love it. If you guys want to support the channel, check it down below. There's Patreon, affiliate links. Those help me a ton. That's how I'm buying the new projects and working on things in my shop. So I thank everybody who uses those links and continue to do so. Have a good weekend. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving, and I'll see y'all next time.